We dropped an underwater camera 300 feet deep onto a sunken ship. Everything was going fine until something attacked our rig near the end. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. Once we made it out of the inlet, we made a 4-mile run south to Fort Lauderdale to set up on this sunken ship 300 feet deep. And our setup for this rig was pretty simple. We had a deep drop light, and we like using these lights just because it helps the camera see more fish. Once we had this light all set up, we started getting our bait ready to go. And squid is the best deep drop bait. So all we did was we took one of those full squids and we cut it into 3 small pieces. We then attached each of these small pieces to our 5-hook chicken rig. After this, we attached the most important part, the underwater camera. And once my brother Austin and I turned this underwater camera on, we were ready to make drop number 1. And this wreck we were dropping on is filled with giant fish, and on drop number 2, our rig actually ended up getting attacked. Now we're switching to the underwater camera view as we make our way 300 feet deep down to this wreck. On this first drop, you'll notice some giant fish were roaming around this sunken ship. And if you guys are wondering where this wreck is, it's right off the Fort Lauderdale inlet, sitting in 300 feet of water. So if you guys want to fish here, this is right off Fort Lauderdale. And let me know in the comments down below if you guys want to see us drop this camera somewhere else. Let me know. I think sending this camera deep is so cool, but I'm open to new ideas. So we are now right off the bottom, and you guys can already start to see part of this sunken shipwreck pretty clearly. And on this first drop, we saw a couple of big fish go right by the camera, but not many of them seemed interested in hitting the rig. And if you guys enjoy this type of underwater content, we post a ton of content just like this every single week on Tuesday, so drop a sub, it would be much appreciated. So now that we hit bottom off the start, as you guys can see, it looks like we're stuck in this wreck, and then these 2 big fish are just swimming around the rig. I don't know what these fish are. They kind of look like black grouper, but I'm not 100% sure. But we were able to break free, and then we went into this new spot once we broke out of that spot. And it seemed like there were a ton of these smaller fish. I'm not 100% sure what these fish are. They kind of look like grunts. But it seems that they were all attracted to this little shiny light. A couple of them were ripping off our squid because I think the hooks were a little too big for these fish. But these fish were just surrounding the camera here, which was pretty cool to catch on the go fish here. But again, on the bottom left, you guys can see there's another big fish. I'm not sure what these are. If you guys know, let me know, but they look like grouper. So we drifted into a new spot, and this was one of the coolest parts of this video. There were a ton of cool shots, but this one was sick. So it looks like on the top left here, a wahoo swims right by the go fish, which is some of the coolest footage I have captured on this go fish cam. So then we were bringing this camera up, and it looks like a barracuda right here chased this fish all the way off the bottom. You guys are going to see him in the top right of your screen here. Luckily, this barracuda didn't attack our rig, which saved us because we definitely don't want to lose this camera. But he swam right up to this rig, and then he decided to head back down. So now let's get ready for drop number 2, and this drop was where the madness began. So we rigged up some squid again, and then we start making our way back down to the bottom. This is where our rig got attacked. So as we make our way down to the bottom, it seems right now that this wreck has been one of the coolest wrecks I have dropped this camera on, just because there is so much life on this wreck. As of right now, we have seen the wahoo, we've seen barracuda, a couple grouper, it seems some snapper in there, and then we had some grunts. There are a ton of different species, and right here actually is where one of these fish decided to take a hit at our rig. So we are now about halfway down to the bottom, and this was the best part about dropping the camera shallow. Usually when we drop the camera 800 feet deep, it will take us usually 4 to 5 minutes just to hit bottom. Out in 300 feet of water, it's taking us only about 45 seconds to get down to the bottom. So we are now right off the bottom, and this is where the chaos begins. So before we even touch the ground right here, it seemed that these grunts have already found our rig, and you guys are going to see they're going to start popping up. Right here, we're already starting to see these grunts, and these grunts, it seemed that they were just attracted to our light. So a bunch of them were hitting our squid again, and like I told you guys, I had the wrong rig here. I think our hooks were way too big to catch these fish. But then this giant barracuda shows up, and you guys can see that was a monster. So these fish then came back around and were hitting the light again, and then this barracuda swims right up to our camera, and that's when one of those small grunts ended up hitting our hooks, and as you guys can see, he chomped on him. He just ate the whole fish, and now this barracuda is stuck on our rig. So once this fish now noticed that he was attached to our rig, he swam up, and I guess another one of these barracudas ended up taking a hit at our camera. We ended up losing half of our rig, and then the camera actually ended up turning off. Luckily, the camera still works, and we were successfully able to retrieve the camera. We only lost about half of our rig, which kind of sucks because those deep drop rigs are expensive. But we hope you guys enjoyed this fishing video, and we hope to see you guys in the next Barjack's Family fishing video.